I remember when we started Gujpreneur, it was you who was the first person to give the article format interview as well on the platform.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you are throughout the journey of Gujpreneur also with us. Can you tell us how was your journey in terms of the photography?
So my journey from the college is pretty interesting. So I was very much into art, music, craft since my childhood, and I belong to very educated family. So education is also very priority for my family. Like everyone have a triple degree, double degree, and they studied abroad and everything. My grandparents and parents always encourage me to have some side hobbies like music, art, or drawing. So I keep constantly evolve myself since childhood. Photography happened me very accidentally, to be very honest, because that was not in plan at all. So after my 12th is complete, I opt for the engineering.
Hi Maulik, how are you?
I'm very well, Meet. Thank you for having me on this platform today to speak my experience of my entire business journey for the past 10 to 12 years, and I'm really very excited to have this conversation today.
I remember when we started Gujpreneur, it was you who was the first person to give the article format interview as well on the
Yes.
platform. And I'm glad that you are throughout the journey of Gujpreneur also with us. Can you tell us how was your journey in terms of the photography?
So my journey from the college is pretty interesting. So I was very much into art, music, craft since my childhood, and I belong to very educated family. So education is also very priority for my family. Like everybody around me, included my father, mother, like uncle, aunt, everyone have a triple degree, double degree, on and they studied abroad and everything. So subconsciously that was on pressure since 10th or 12th standard for me side. But apart from this, my grandparents and parents always encourage me to have some side hobbies like music, art, or drawing. So I keep constantly evolve myself since childhood by learning music. So I'm a very good keyboard player, and then I started drawing sometimes, and I started classes for the drawing. So that's how I build myself subconsciously from the childhood surrounding the art and crafts and hobbies and everything. So photography happened me very accidentally, to be very honest, because that was not in plan at all. So after my 12th is complete, I opt for the engineering, because that was the in thing that time.
True.
So after the third year and fourth year, my parents and grandparents plan was set that I have to pursue master degree in the engineering and then go with the flow. But I was not very much convinced about that, and I started DJing when I was in the 11th standard. So I played in some local clubs, and I have a very good taste of music that time, because I was already learning keyboards and everything. So I tried that 2 or 3 years, but Gujarat is a dry state there, so there is no particular commercial market for the DJs at that time, and it was a way back to early in 2007-6. So eventually I not dropped, but I think due to lack of, like, I have done and I was really happy that I have done 2 years or 3 years of like small gigs and everything, which paid my pocket money basically. So that was my first initially earnings of 900 rupees, 1000 rupees, 5000 rupees and everything. So uh, that's how I started my business journey as an artist, I can say. But after a third year, I also started for preparing for the NID exams. So I start I explored that my interest in more of automobile designing and everything. So I started to prepare for my NID entrance. And apart from this, when I was in the third year, my cousin brought me a camera from the US. So that was with me from 6 months in the cupboard, but I have never explored it, like apart from this family functions and everything. So one fine day I just pull out that camera from a cupboard and start clicking as usual sunsets and leaves and squirrels around the house and pigeons and everything. So one fine day my friend came to my home and he said, do you know this camera have a manual mode? So I thought, what is the manual mode in the camera? So he explained me like basic of a manual mode. So this is a shutter speed, and this is ISO, and this is aperture, and this is how you blur background. Because at that time the blur background pictures was very fascinating for me, because right now it's in everybody's phone. Like it's just a handful of click. But to blur the background at that time, that was very fascinating and professional looking pictures. So that clicked me very well, and I just started exploring that camera every day from now that day. So I started watching YouTube videos, and I started watching some, like, exploring some magazines and everything, what is exactly the manual mode is. So I randomly started the jumble up the settings of the, because I have not the theoretical knowledge of everything, the body shutter speed, aperture and everything. So I started exploring more about YouTube. So I am a self-taught photographer. So this is how I started my learning from day one. And at that time, one of my friends organized a workshop, which was a cost at a 50 rupees, and it was a college workshop in the HL college. And he forced me, like, come join me and I will teach you the basics of the photography and everything. So I went there, and it was a 2 or 3 hours workshop, and I had, like, that cleared all my basics of my photography. So that cleared all my ISO settings and aperture and whatever the technical terms in, and that gives me a more confidence and more boost to go towards the photography. So till now there was not at all plan to go into this photography business, or like I will opt it as a career, because 10 years 12 years back, photography is still look at the like average kind of like career option. So that was not my plan. So after the third year, I started clicking pictures of my friends, and I started using softwares like Photoscape, and Photoshop came in later, but I think that time Photoscape was more in, like, I tweaked the settings, and I try to make my friends really cool with my editing. So I still remember I watermarked my friends' pictures as a Maulik Photographics at that time. So this was way back around 2012-13, and this is how started my photography journey. So yes, and rest is the history. But I think there was too much learning in this 10 to 12 years, and this is how I converted into business. So after 12-13, I completed my college, and I told my father that I really want to pursue this as a career. And he was not pretty sure about it, but he's always supportive to me. So I told him I want a camera. So he said, like, how much it cost? I said 75,000. So he was like, 75,000 for the camera, like, because 75,000 for the camera at that time was too much, and like, right. And he said, okay, I will I will try to figure out something. And at that time, with my older camera that my cousin bought, I was roaming around the cities in the Sundays and Saturdays and doing the photo walks near the Teen Darwaja and this Jama Masjid and everything. So one fine day, I clicked a picture of rickshaws, like line of a rickshaws and traffic are like from the top of the Teen Darwaja, which is very rarely accessible, and somehow I managed to get on the top of the Teen Darwaja, and I just randomly clicked the picture. And at that time, 2014, there was a competition of Ahmedabad Archives.
I remember.
Yeah. So I submitted my picture there very randomly, and I few days after that, I got a mail that you are one of the winner. Like, that's a mail there, you are one of the winner and you have to collect the prize on this date. So I went there, and surprisingly I got the first prize for that picture, and I got a 25,000 rupees of cash prize in that. So that adds upon in my camera budget basically. And suddenly after the next day, I lent money from my father, and I got my first camera. And that's how my professional, like semi-professional journey starts. And then I started shooting some of my model friends. I approached them like, I want to make some portfolio. So in the start, I was very much interested into fashion photography. And also Ahmedabad is a very small market. Like
True.
currently we have a very small market for the fashion photography, not just like Bombay or Delhi or something. So I started very randomly. Still, there is no plan of pursuing the career or like anything like building a business around it. But it was a like calling from inside, and it was like a passion for me. So I start learning every day. Like I still using YouTubes, and I still learning magazines and random internet sources to learn and upbring my camera skills. And also I started learning with for the lighting also. So in the first second years I started building my own soft boxes from the shoe boxes. So I put a bulb holder in it, and I put a diffuser paper on it, and I make soft boxes, and I took pictures of myself and everything. And I this is how practically I started learning light. And yeah, so like from the DJing, like from the engineering and from the photography, so this is how started my journey in the photography.
That's so amazing to hear from you, and I've seen from DJ Mac to Maulik Patel's photography to a founder of Studio B Unique. How did you come up with the name Studio B Unique?
So it was very random. As I told, I take my self portraits, and I used to write quote in every picture. So like for example, I am sitting in the silhouette, and like sunset is doing setting it behind me, and I used to randomly quote, like take out the quote. And so one fine day I just randomly quoted the name Be Unique, and that's how like it
It
sticks.
has started.
It is very random. There is no particular thought process about it, but I think it sticks with me, and it was very random for me.
So people knows you by the name Maulik Patel or with the studio name of Studio B Unique.
I think more for the Studio Unique right now.
Amazing. And are you still playing that keyboard? Are you still into that music? How do you still keep that passion amongst you?
I'm not very much practicing keyboard nowadays. Like I play it sometimes. I am very much into music right now, like from exploring music to listening music every day, like listening to every genre of music every day. That keeps me alive, that keeps me going, that keeps me motivating also. So that helps me to generate new ideas and keeps me going. So that's how like important in the field of photography also to keep inspired every day.
Right. And अगर अगर फोटोग्राफी नहीं तो क्या?
That's a difficult question, but I think uh, I would not doing any kind of jobs. That's for sure.
For sure.
Maybe if I cleared out the NID exam, I was some automobile or graphic designer. As previous, I worked as a graphic designer also, so I have a very good natural sense of graphic designing, and I have self-taught myself, and I have worked 2 years as a graphic designer online. So I like when Design Crowd and this Fiverr and every sites are very initial stage. I used to design logos and business cards and for the companies. So maybe yeah, graphic designer, that was my second option. And yeah, maybe something design or create
I
related.
remember Maulik that we had a work with the Gandhinagar based restaurant, and where one of our common friend was a
Yeah,
food consultant, and you designed the menu card
entire
of the
menu.
brand.
Yeah.
So that restaurant eventually shut because of their personal issues, but I still remember the kind of logo you created,
Yeah.
and that had a very particular niche graphic designing sense.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely maybe a visual storyteller,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
in front of, not in the form of the camera, then in maybe in form of the
Something in the creation mode. I would
Definitely,
be,
I
yeah,
would say.
something in the creation mode.
Wonderful. What I personally remember, the day when I also got inspired by Maulik's one of the edited photo. I remember he clicked a photo of the watch from Law Garden, and that watch had written "Mera time aayega" or something. That was the line, and I think he placed the Casio logo in the photo, and he edited in a such a way that even I got inspiration, and I edited maybe 50 around photographs in my hard drive. I still have those photographs, and and I used to send it to Maulik and saying that Maulik, this is because of you. This is something which I have got. I want to do something like this. And then I felt this is not something you can copy. This is not something you can learn just by looking at someone's art. So I still remember, Maulik, this scenario, and um, we had a trek together.
Yeah.
You click a lot of photograph with the smallest
Small,
digi
yeah.
camera, and a lot of good memories were built on those camera. Those were the storytelling part of the whole trek. And then you started the studio Be Unique. You must have started with 2 or 3 people. How did you started, and how did you got the first call for the wedding shoot?
Okay. So when I started photography and I decided that I want to pursue as a career, so initially, as I told, like fashion photography was my main core interest. But later on, I found that like there is a very limited market currently in the Ahmedabad, and there was no planning to shift to Mumbai or Delhi or something. So later on, I started exploring other genres for the photography. And so one fine day, my friend's friend engagement was there, and he told me that he wants you to capture some pictures of his engagement. So I went there, like already there was his family photographer, and I went there with my 50 lens and one camera, and I clicked their ring shots. And couple was so happy with that ring shot. He posted everywhere on the Facebook and everything, and that's how I started my like initial journey as a event or a wedding photographer. And I explore that how these all things work on the field. I watched that other photographers, like senior photographers, they are working like in a team of 2-3 people, and one is capturing the family pictures, one is doing the candid pictures of the couple and everything. So I explored on field first experience of that, and that was still not my clicking point to get into the wedding photography, because as I told you, the wedding photography was not a very fancy job that days. So after that, I explored that that's a very huge market in this, and it's a very like wedding industry itself a very huge in the India.
You're saying it's not a fancy
Yeah.
field at that time, maybe 2014, 15.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think nowadays, whatever the shoot you guys are doing from the Studio Be Unique, you guys are doing in Dubai also, you guys are doing in US, and the kind of shoot you are doing, those are all are, I think, fancy. I
Yeah.
mean, those all are not more than 1 CR or 2 CR, and the brides are
Yeah.
looking good. The audience is
Yeah.
amazingly dressed up. The ambience is amazing. So, how do you like the first wedding shots to the last shoot, which might be getting featured into some known publications, I think, and the award-winning photographs? How do you see your art got evolved during this time?
Okay.
Like you see 2015 or 16 album, and then you see 2023 or 24 album. The evolution of the art, along with the equipments, of course. How do you track and how do you monitor it?
So this is basically part of my success story also, as you can say, because I keep tracking of progress of myself only, because I am my own harshest critic basically. So I critique my work very badly. So let me tell you the story of my first wedding. The first wedding I shot was another, like with another photographer also, because I was not having a team, because for the wedding you need at least 5 to 6 people of team to cover entire wedding. So after a 2014 or 15, one of my school friend was getting married, and like he was keep tracking my Facebook post and everything. So he insisted me to come to cover that wedding only in the candid format. So again same scenario, like I have to cover only the candid part of it, and I just got my 70-200 lens at that time, just a day before, and I was really very excited to cover his wedding, because at that time 70-200 lens was very like it's just a diamond for me.
Right.
So I was very excited, and I just woke up early at that day and went to his wedding. Like it was a 1-day wedding in the Ahmedabad. and I covered his entire wedding and deliver 150 good pictures to him after the editing, and like converted it into black and white and sepias and everything, and he was so happy with the result. And I remember I got paid 6,000 rupees for that. So that was my first official paid assignment of my wedding photography journey.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, I got connected to the one local wedding photographer who was in the industry since past 5-7 years and doing the weddings. So I associated with him, and as a candid photographer and like as a freelancers basically. So just to explore the total industry of it, I worked with him around 1.5-2 years over a 10-15 weddings, and I learned everything, like how team management works, how team splitting works, how like what kind of team strength you will need, what kind of teams like videographers, cinematographers you need. So I covered every wedding, like here in the Barodas, like in the village area, in the rural areas. Like I covered so many weddings like in that 2 years. And after the 2 years, I got the basics of the wedding photography, that yes, this is how you manage the teams, this is how you put the your team to the work, this is how you sell, this is how you deliver the albums to the client. And after I think 2015, I got my first client who was my gym mate basically, and he wanted to cover entire wedding. So associated with that guy, like I hired some people, and as a studio Vinik, I took up my first wedding that year. And I think later on that year we did a 5 to 6 weddings. So I'll tell you the funny story about that. At the first year, I was zero knowledge. Like I was having a zero knowledge of the printing and like what DPI should I print or everything. And I made so many mistakes in that first year, like in the printing, in the delivery, and everything. And I eventually made no profits from that weddings basically, but that was my core learning, you know, because that's how I grow. I grow from my learnings, I grow from my mistakes, and I always try to overcome that mistakes, that learnings, and that qualities that I don't good at it, and I try to improve that, and I implement it in my business. So that's how my journey to the wedding photography as a studio Vinik started, and later on here I am today.
So how do you get the best or the more of the leads these days? You guys already are in touch with a lot of event managers all across India. I've been following you since long. You guys are doing shoot in Shimla. You guys are doing shoot in Goa. You get the more inquiries from the bride and groom, or you get more inquiries from the event managers. And
Okay.
what is the difference when you are talking to the families and when you are talking to the families through event managers? Is there a big difference associating with the family? Because I don't think photography is only for the piece of the art. It is more of you getting in touch and
Yeah,
become the
yeah,
part
yeah.
of that family for those few days, and you cover those emotions. So, what is that difference you guys feel while going between the direct family and the
Okay.
route via event
Okay.
managers?
So how we approach wedding photography, because wedding photography is very personalized thing. Like
Hmm.
it's very personal for the bridegroom also, for the family also, and there are a lot of emotions attached with it. Like every pictures have emotions in it. Like we just doing a normal work, like it's just a normal work at the day, but each pictures have have an own core memory to it and have attachment of the family. So we see it very personalized way. So we always try to communicate with the bridegroom just before we take up the any wedding. If it is comes with the wedding planner, we insisted them to arrange a prior meeting with the bridegroom, because we also wanted to check how serious they are about the photography, right?
Right.
Because also your work should be valued by the clients also,
Hmm.
because if they are not valuing your work, it's just a labor work. That's what my point of view. Like you are just doing a labor work for them, and just you are just another service provider at that
True.
wedding. So this is not our approach basically. So we look it very personalized, and we try to gather all the requirements just whenever we start filling up our initial inquiry form and everything. So we try to get more information more about them, and even if it's a event from the event planners, or even if from the internet or a Google or something, we always try to communicate with the uh, client first, and then we approach the wedding photography part of it, and then we approach the business part of it.
So, since I'm listening, I'm trying to capture the memories, and also trying to understand that you are learning a lot from the Google or YouTube or some other photographers and the community. But this is something also about to run your own business, and which is where what is that something which nobody teaches you while entering into the business, making it so big, making it available for all across India and outside India, running a team of more than 15 people, hiring more than 40-50 freelancers in the season, after the season, the editing parts. What is, since you have come into the business which is connected, very well connected with the art, and art and the business doesn't go hand in hand, right? But somehow you are managing from 2 people to 20 people, and you have came so long where your business is expanded to all across India. You guys are shooting outside India as well. So how, what is that one thing which people don't teach you before entering into the business, and which you learned uh, by yourself?
Okay. So for me, I think to balance business and art is very important in creative fields, basically, because you cannot run your company as a corporate company where you're like surrounding with the all artists, because we artists are very differently made, and everyone have their different time zones to work, they have different vibes to work. So I think the corporate culture never worked for us, and I also believe that I am artists should be free to work. So we have a very open environment in office. So I think a lot of people I have seen that they have a very strict culture in the office, and they have a very corporate culture in the office, and like to like run a business kind of thing. So I never approached my business like that, and I never approached my business as a corporate business, so like to money making business. So I am just associated and surrounded with the artists, and I want to go in that flow only. So yeah, apart from that, I think I have learned accountings and taxations and everything like that. That is very poor side of me. Like I was very weak in the maths in the college and the school also, but now eventually that's came all to me.
Did COVID hit you badly? I mean, of course, the events were cancelled. You must have taken advances for the events coming in the season, and the team are dependent on you. How did you manage the COVID time? How did you manage the critical time of the company where everybody were laying off the employees? There was no shoot happening, there was no events happening,
Mhm.
and what are your things to move ahead with the COVID and after COVID?
Okay. So when the COVID hit and when the lockdown happened, it was our almost the 2020 season end, and we were covering our last wedding in the Goa at the 18th, and the lockdown happened at the 20th. So luckily the season was over, and that was the best season. Also, we have covered around 40 odd, like 40 weddings in that season, and we were just about to start the post processing work and everything. So once the lockdown happened, the main challenge we were facing was that to deliver data to the editors, like particular editors, to deliver the hard disk, because there was no gap between like 2-3 days or something that we can copy the hard disk and deliver data to get the work from home done and everything. But luckily my father was in essential services, and one of my friend was in the press that time. So we use that both guys to deliver my hard disk, my systems and everything, because they were allowed to roam around. So that's how we figure out, and like rest of the work we did the online transfers and everything. And apart from that, as my team supported me every time, so I also like try to keep them bonded and keep them supported financially in the COVID time also. And yes, the same team still works with me, and like at that time we used to do Zoom calls with you. You
Yeah,
remember, like
I
we
know.
were doing like late night Zoom calls to just keep everyone motivated
Yeah.
and like inspired. So yeah, because it was a difficult time for everyone, and after the COVID ends, like after the June July, that 9 p.m. lockdown was there.
Mm.
So that season was we did the best weddings,
Mm-hmm.
because that was very time restricted weddings, like very limited people
People.
weddings, only emotions attached, only 50 people, 150 people. And like surprisingly that was the best season, and like best wedding. 9 p.m. you are at home like copying the data. That was that was the best season, honestly. So I think yeah, COVID hit us, but eventually with the help of my team and everything, the season went very smooth, and next season was really very better.
So till now, what's your best and worst experience in wedding, also in the commercial side where you are doing shoot with? Recently, we have seen your shoot with Kapil Dev. You have shot with Shubman Gill. Uh, so, what is the best and worst side of the industry and your personal experience?
I think as a wedding photographer, the best part of my job is to travel
Hmm.
to uh, very integral part of the families who are enjoying 2 or 3 days with you, and you are capturing with them. So it is very overwhelming to meet people every day, like every other day you are meeting two new bridegrooms, new families, and to connect with them and say goodbye to them next day, and you're going to the another wedding. So that's the best part, I think, to keep on traveling to new places, exploring new locations and everything. That's the best part. And as a commercial photographer, is always a pleasure to work with the big celebrities and everything. I am really grateful that I got some opportunities via creative agencies and via their managers. So it is very overwhelming experience when you come home and you put a story and your friend says, "Wow, you met Shubman Gill. Wow, you met Kapil there." So it's a big thing for me also, of course, and it's a lovely to work all the generous people out there.
Sitting in Ahmedabad, working with the Bollywood artists like Madhuri Dixit ji, or the who's and who name who might be visiting Ahmedabad, uh, how do you get those calls from the managers? Like, what are your approach from the social media, from your Instagram accounts, from your profile, keeping that updated? How do you get that first call from the manager that, oh, I saw your profile and it looks so amazing and we want to work with you?
Hmm.
So how many of these managers calls you directly?
So I think it's usually a referral from some photographer sitting at the Mumbai, and
Mm.
they refer to their managers that if you are traveling to Ahmedabad, this is the guy you can approach. So for that also, your profile or your portfolio should be very strong to convince them that I would be able to work for them. So I think I am very particular about my personal profile is like I keep updating them, and also for the Studio Bunix profile. And I also advise very young photographers and that are the new photographers that your portfolio is everything, because that's how you convince a client or company or creative director or like XYZ manager that you are able to work. So that is your face basically. So your portfolio should be very updated regularly. Your websites, be it your website, your maybe your Instagram page, or maybe it's your personal web page that you are managing.
Mm.
So it should be very updated, and like I do a lot of personal shoots also for my profile upgradation, like a lot of taste shoots I do
Mm.
frequently whenever I'm free, like I do taste shoots for my profile updation, everything. So yeah, that's part is very important to approach any, like it makes your lead generation to conversion ratio very easily. Like in wedding photographer also, like client is comes like 50% convinced that I want to do work with you just because of your portfolio, and rest works as your sales and your marketing and your
Mm.
financial things.
Mm.
So I think your portfolio is a must to keep you updated as a photographer.
We would also like to understand how do you cope up with the latest technologies, be it the camera, be it the lights, be it the AI which has given a lot of chance to the new age photographers to also edit very quickly,
Yeah.
fast. Do you feel this AI will also convert the human efforts, or do you feel this AI will also help to upgrade the skills? How do you take this technology these days?
Okay, I take AI as a blessings, I guess, because it makes your works easy basically. Because like a lot of people takes like AI will take your jobs, AI will take your this. But I think in a wedding photography, AI will never able to capture emotions that family is having. So I think physically you have to be there. But I think in our workflow we have integrated the AI in terms of culling the pictures. Like out of 10,000 or 20,000 pictures, it takes 10 minutes to cull the pictures for the AI module. It takes like half an hour to edit that pictures as per our preset. So I think AI technology is very much important to learn these days for the photographers also, and also it will help to minimize your workflow also, and you can quickly deliver things to your client. So I think I take AI personally very as a blessing side maybe, and I know there are some jobs that takes over the AI, but I think at certain level AI will help to minimize your workflow basically.
How much do you give the importance to the health and the fitness side, since you guys go on the shoot for 3 days, 5 days, then coming back to the town and the office for one day, and again the same day, very next day, or maybe the same night you are traveling again. I'm sure that the food habits, the cardio exercises are not going to go hand in hand, right? So how do you keep yourself fit and the healthier side so that everything runs very smoothly?
Okay.
Because you are not just Maulik Patel, you are now running a business where 15, 20 odd people are also dependent on you. And how do you keep track on your health?
Okay, so that's a little difficult part as for my personal life also, because for the 4 months we constantly shooting, eating wedding food, and sleeping at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the night, and waking up again at the 9 a.m. in the morning, and like shooting whole day for the 16, 17 hours, and again like taking a midnight flights. And so I think your health goes for the toss, of course, in that 4 months. But I recently got very much into the healthier lifestyle because I turned 30 now, and I think this is the more important things for me now. So I prioritize my health. So I keep it very simple. I try to keep eat a healthy food, and to walk 10,000 steps, or maybe 8,000 to 10,000 steps maybe a day. So in the weddings also I like wake up 30 minutes or 40 minutes early, and just try to roam around in the property, or maybe like wherever we are staying, or maybe at home. So yeah, I keep it very simple because I don't want to push very much pressure on myself in terms of health. So I think this healthy eating, and to active yourself throughout the day, that helps me uh, very much stay in pace physically also, and also mentally, because the physical activity affects your mental health very much. And these days you are always on the mobiles, and always on the laptops, and you keep busying your things. So I think it's very important to cut off these things for the 30-40 minutes throughout the day, and take your time off, because your body is the most costliest real estate you own.
I definitely agree.
That's I believe.
I,
So
I
I think
completely agree.
this is my current vibe. So I take my personal health seriously, and I try to cope up with that.
Wonderful. uh, what is your idea of success in terms of business, not in terms of the photography, in terms of uh, overall your life? So what is that idea of success?
I think I am a very laid back of a guy when it comes to comfort. Maybe not in the business. I am very aggressively like a workaholic guy. So I keep working till late night, and I also like once I wake up, I take my laptop and I edit something, or I make something, or like I'm updating a sheets. So at business I'm very aggressive, but I think I love the slow living life, slow mornings and everything. So I think my idea is the success of that. I will work, I think, 10 to 12 more years very aggressively, and I think I will chill rest of my 40s. That's how I see success basically, because it should be a work life balance every time, because to run till your 60s and to 70s, it's not my kind of thing, and that's my personal point of view. And I think to track your goals basically, I keep track of my goals, that I want to achieve this kind of things in this year. I want to do this amount of weddings, this kind of weddings. I want to create this kind of images in this year. So I keep tracking my goals, and I try to achieve them, and that's how I track my success basically.
Since we have the website and a lot of people coming to the website to see read the articles, and now we are also starting a video format where it becomes much easier and on the go content for them, and they learn a lot of things from people like you. uh, so what is your take, and what is your one advice to the aspiring entrepreneurs who wants to start something there by their own, or maybe they have already started and they are stuck somewhere, or who wants to restart their journey? Maybe they have 5 years. We have a lot of people commenting on the DMs, and they are putting us email, and they need a lot of mentorship and advices.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that one advice you would like to give out to the people who wants to start the entrepreneurship journey?
So I think entrepreneurship is a journey. Like it's not a 1 day game or a 1 year game or maybe 5 year game. So it's a long lasting journey. Like, and you keep learning new things every day. Like you keep exploring new things every day, and you keep exploring about yourself every day in this journey basically. So I think to have a ability to adapt that learnings, it's a very key point to any entrepreneur basically. You have to keep yourself open, like be there a critic from your team side, or maybe a critic from your uh, uh, colleagues, or maybe anything. Yeah, you should be always open from your learning, and you always overcome that mistakes you did. You always try to fix them, and like you always figure out how to fix them. So I think that's how I made myself basically, because as I told you, I have a zero business background, and I made self my I still I don't call myself a business or entrepreneur, but I think to for me to balance art and business was main challenge for me. And I think we are right now we are going on a smooth sailing ship,
Yeah.
and I think we are looking forward to grow more. But one advice: learn from a mistake and never stop learning.
So this is what we always seek for. This is always our motto, to get the inspiration from the people like you. Since the lot of knowledge are there on the books and the Google and the Chat GPT as well. We always want to seek. We always want to take the knowledge from the people, and which are entrepreneurship is a new word. I would say a person who started a shop in 20 years back, they are also the
Yeah,
entrepreneurs,
of
but
course,
they
of
they were
course.
never called as
Yeah,
entrepreneurs.
yeah.
And now a lot of web series and lot of shows has inspired people to start their own startup, right? So this startup, entrepreneurship, those words have been grown, also evolved also in coming I mean last few years. But in terms of uh, we Gujarati entrepreneurs, we already have a dhando in our DNA,
Yeah.
and that's what we always promote, that if we have that one spark of doing something unique, something different, something, some points which not everybody is doing.
Yeah.
uh, so yes, it was a wonderful talking to you.
Same here.
We got a lot of insights, and I'm sure our viewers are also going to get a lot of insights from the people like you, and they are going to get the inspiration. So Maulik, we have a few rapid fire questions which we want a quick answers from you. Can we start?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Your company name,
Studio Punic.
services do you guys offer?
Wedding, commercial, and fashion photography.
What is your USP?
Wedding photography.
Your favorite brand in the photography?
Like in terms of camera,
Yes.
Sony.
You prefer reels or full films?
Full films any day.
Studio or natural lights?
Studio lights.
Savings or investment?
Investment.
Intuitive or institutive?
Intuitive.
You team or solo?
Team any day.
Books or iPad?
Books.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.